Hey YouTubers, welcome to World Cinema Reviews. This is your host, Frank the Vamp. Here's here's the blood pillow. That can only mean one thing. I'm doing the last movie here. Yeah, there's one more. Yeah, you guys probably went through my list and said, "Hey, where's the Scars of Dracula?" So yeah, it was a little bit more difficult to find because I did not own that film. So finally, uh, here's a review. We're missing one, and we got to do it. This is the sequel to Taste the Blood of Dracula, made in 1970, directed by Roy Ward Barker, starring the awesome Christopher Lee and also Dennis Waterman. Um, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that the Scars of Dracula it's a mixed bag for a lot of people. Um, some like it, some don't. I'll tell you that there's some things I like, and there's one thing that annoys the hell out of me. But overall, I like the film. I think anything Christopher Lee is on is really cool, but there's more here. There's a lot of meat here. There's a lot of blood here. There's a lot of things to like. So let's talk about the plot. So right after Taste of Blood of Dracula, um, yeah, here's the. Well, we'll talk more about it later, but a vampire bat comes flying in and drips blood on Dracula's remains, and without any explanation or why or how, it brings him back. So we have a couple of things going on. First of all, people are just fed up the fact that Dracula has come back to his Transylvania home, and people just had enough and just stormed the castle and set fire to it. Later on, we get this young man who has been wrongly accused of a crime, apparently, and he's fleeing and accidentally comes into Castle Dracula. Dracula welcomes him, being the host again, and pretends everything's fine. And he's got a beautiful female companion that later this dude Paul, that the guy that's being wrongly accused, they have a love affair, but Dracula's not having it and just kills the woman and for because she was about to buy him, make him a vampire. She was about to eat him without his permission, and because he's the boss, so he bites first. 'Cause that's the way it works. uh, and then the body is dissolved by, hey, guess who's back? Clove is back, the butler, the Dracula's servant, and Paul tries to escape, but he can't do it. So Simon, his brother, tries to go save him, aided by Paul's fiance, and that's where I'm gonna leave the plot. Uh, Let me talk about the one thing that bothers me. Okay, let's start with the negative first because there's a lot of positive. I hate that stupid cheesy vampire bat. The stupid bat. It bothers me because it looks fake as fake can be. I mean, it wouldn't bother me if the film was more campy. Like, I can stand bad effects when the movie sucks and it's aware that it sucks and it places for a laugh. But they're trying to be serious, and this bad. It doesn't scare anybody. It bothers me because it's as cheesy can be. And for some reason, resurrects Dracula without no explanation. It's freaking stupid looking, and just I think they could have done something without it. I know they're trying to. I think the intent was to make Dracula more closer to the novel because he scales castle walls and has control of the animal kingdom, and it's more like more like a true vampire thing, but they just needed better effects. This is dreadful, completely dreadful. So yeah, that's the part I don't like. The parts I like is that Dracula's back to being this gentleman, deceiving, conniving fiend, blood sucking fiend, which I love from the horror of Dracula, from the very first one in 1958. You know, I think that the violence is appropriate on this one. Um, yeah, we are. There's some really gory scenes. I think this is the very first. I read that this is the first film to receive an R rating of the whole of the Dracula series, and yeah, there's real gory scenes. Hey, Dracula walks in and disapproves of her vampire lovers, so he stabs her violently to death. And there's many parts of the you know the like the way going from the way he's biting he's biting, going to the more blood and the corpses that are shown throughout the film. It's a lot of more strong images, and it totally works. Oh yeah, and let's not forget one of the sickest, goriest things, which is when Dracula disapproves of Clove's disobedience and punish him by putting a gigantic metal sword in his to his back. With when the sword has been heated to the fire, and that's gruesome, man. That's like I could feel the pain in the sear skin, the sear burned skin. I mean, it's real, man. It's real effective the way that the practical effects are used. That's why I'm so freaking disappointed by the bad before, because that look and the look on Christopher Lee's face, like he's enjoying punishing Clove, which later on, not too much of a spoiler alert, but Clove is not happy all the shit that the stuff is being put through, and that's gonna affect the rest of the film. Um, Another thing that of course, I love Christopher Lee, and like I said, the acting, the thing better, and the return to that. So we touch on that. We also touch on the gore and the more violence, and so we're getting um, we're getting a lot of good things in this Dracula film. Despite the bad problem. Um, Also, I truly like the way the other characters interact and the way they're acting, and the story driven. I also like the storm Castle Dracula. You wonder why it hasn't before, and it kind of reminds me of the Frankenstein monster movies. So yeah, there's a lot good things to see. I'm trying to think. Um, yeah, it's I love the ending. Very original. Um, a lot of people say, "Hey, it's not true to vampire form," but then again, we had some unusual ways to kill Dracula, so this is kind of an unusual, kind of neat way to do it. So yeah, overall, I like the Scars of Dracula. I'm gonna give it a solid B to B plus. So there you go. So despite the bad, if it didn't have the bad and they had done something else more clever, it probably would have tied with Taste of Blood of Dracula as my favorite, or maybe even surpass it. But I really like this film, so I hope you do too. Enjoy, and this concludes. This really does conclude, the series, because this is the last one reviewed. But if you continue watching it in order, then no, you have a lot to go. You have a few films to go still. So if you're doing that, then enjoy them. Comment please if you liked it. If you didn't like this film, did the bad bother you as much as I did? Um, and subscribe. So feel the scars of Dracula.